iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office, it's open, my friends. Let's take a look at Monday night's game. We'll look over that, and then we'll talk about digging for gold. Because there's so many bye weeks this week, it's killing me. But Brock Osweiler, at some point, it was at the beginning of the fourth quarter, the middle of the fourth quarter, I sent out a tweet. He had 64 yards passing. 22 for 41, 131 yards. Please, make it stop. Make it stop. Now, I know it's the Broncos. I get it. But I don't know what more we need to see. This guy is overmatched. It's not good. Lamar Miller got hurt like the third play of the game. He was 11 for 61. But he ran against him. I'll say this. Alfred Blue had 11 carries for 63 yards. Miller was 11 for 61. I mean, they averaged over 5 yards a carry. That tells me that Denver's susceptible to a running defense. Hello, Melvin Gordon. DeAndre Hopkins, 5 for 36. Fedorowicz, 5 for 35. I mean, they were just catching garbage passes at the end. I mean, the Broncos were like letting him get it. For the Broncos, Trevor Siemian, did he have to do anything? 14 for 25, 157 yards and a touchdown? No. When you're running 16 for 107 for a touchdown with Andrew Puke, and Devontae Booker, 17 for 83 and a touchdown, 35 carries, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns, that's good running the football. Once again, as we've seen all year, Sanders, 8 targets, 4 receptions, 86 yards. Demaryius, 10 targets, 6 receptions, 40 yards and a TD. 18 targets, 10 catches. Everybody else out there is just standing. That's the Broncos. I really think the Broncos lose to a team that plays good defense. Because Trevor Siemian is not ready to be an NFL quarterback. He's just not. So I don't know what to say as much as Brock Osweiler stinks. And the problem is that DeAndre Hopkins has the greatest schedule in the second half. He's got Detroit, then it's a bye. Jacksonville, Oakland, San Diego, Green Bay, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, Cincinnati. That's party time. I mean, that's party time for DeAndre Hopkins. But Brock you give me Tom Brady with DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins becomes the best player in the NFL. But right now with Brock Osweiler, he becomes above average on a schedule where he should be the best. That's a problem. It's a problem. So, all right, let's go mining for gold, digging for gold, finding a player or two to preview now before we deal with our waiver wires. All right, so let's see. For the Giants, I guess Paul Perkins is on my short list. But, Giants don't play this week. It's a problem in week 8. So you're getting Perkins, but you're not playing him, which is a big problem because it's bye week hell. 6 teams out. Rams are out too. Maybe Brian Quick, but I don't want to deal with them. Right? It's a problem. So let's see who's out this week. You have the 49ers are out. The Giants are out. Miami is out. The Rams are out. Baltimore is out. Pittsburgh's out. A lot of guys out. All right, Chicago, Kadeem Carey is of interest to me. He's probably the most interesting guy in that team. I don't think Joshua Bellamy is that interesting. I assume Eddie Royal will be back, and if not, I assume that Jay Cutler, who will be the quarterback again, will basically throw the ball to Alshon Jeffrey and Cameron Meredith. For Green Bay, if by some miracle, and I say miracle, that Devontae Adams or Ty Montgomery are available, please do not hesitate. Don't stop. Run to your computers and get them on your team. All right, for New Orleans, I guess Brandon Coleman is of interest to me if I was preying on an injury. Between Thomas Snead and Cooks, God forbid one of them goes down, Coleman's a logical guy. I like that. Tyreek on Fleek Hill, Like I said yesterday, I like him, but he doesn't do enough. Doesn't get enough touches, but that's who's the best guy out there for me there for the Chiefs. Tennessee, possible Rashard Matthews might be out there. Maybe Tajai Sharp is out there. Got to look those directions. For Indianapolis, Chester Rogers may be out there, depending on whether or not Philip Dorsett's still out. That's possible. Robert Turbin. There's no more Josh Ferguson. He's history. Robert Turbin is the logical backup there to Frank Gore. He got a couple of carries and he got a catch. But as you're seeing, there's just not a lot out there on the waiver wire. That's why when a guy's out there and he's good, you got to strike. For Minnesota, Cordero Patterson, if he's available. I mean, he's not in most leagues that I'm in, but if he's out there, I think you got to be looking at him. Adam Thielen, don't love him. Ronnie Hillman, for Philadelphia, maybe if somebody cuts Smallwood, and I just don't like any of the receivers. There's nobody out there that I'm really loving there. Cleveland, maybe Kevin Hogan, but I think Josh McCown is going to be back. Maybe Josh McCown is interesting. In terms of the receivers, my friend Jason Braddock like Rashard Higgins, but man, that's a mess. Can you just see my voice where I'm just saying I don't like anybody here? At Cincinnati, Rex Burkhead, 4 carries, 23 yards, 1 reception, 10 yards. Has it come to this? Has it come to me starting Rex Burkhead? I guess if Chris Thompson is available, I'm going to go for him. He was in the perfect dream matchup. He won't have that again, but he is effective. And, Matt Jones has fumbling issues. So if he's out there, great. I don't believe Jordan Reed will play this week. I like Vernon Davis as he's out there. Get him one more week. He'll be useless after that. So when you look at the Redskins, and give me a second, I'll find them for you. Right, the Redskins have Cincinnati, then they're on bye. I think Jordan Reed is back against Minnesota. So you're really renting Vernon Davis for a week. You get a little VD for a week, all right? You could deal a little VD for 1 week, right? Come on, we all can. Anquan Bolden is interesting to me. If he's out there, he may not be in some leagues, but it's possible that he still may be available. I like Anquan Bolden a little bit. For Oakland, Seth Roberts, I've talked about this play all year. So what I'm encouraging people to do is to get handcuff receivers. So if I own Michael Crabtree, I own Amari Cooper, Seth Roberts is a good player to me. He had 9 targets last week, 4 receptions. If Crabtree or Cooper would go down, he's a viable player. Same thing with Marquise Lee. So these are 2 guys who I think need to be owned in deeper leagues. If you're in an online championship or if you're in a main event league, I would certainly think that those guys should be on somebody's roster. If you're in a 12-team league that's not deep, well, maybe not. But if you were in a league that was deep, 14 teams, 16 teams, I think there's room for them on your roster. I really do, and I think it's something you should look at. We know that Miami's out, right? Miami's not playing next week. So Buffalo is, Miami isn't. But Damian Williams, I think, is interesting. With Arian Foster now retired, and by the way, we'll miss you, Arian Foster. You were a good player at one time. You could just never stay healthy. But Damian Williams is the legit backup to Ajayi. Right? He is the legit backup there. It's not Isaiah Pete who stinks. Arian Foster's done. Damian Williams is legit. I think he's worth a pickup. For Buffalo, if Mike Gillislee's still out there, and you've got a lot of receivers for Buffalo who are messes. So, I don't know, maybe Goodwin is out, Brandon Tate, Justin Hunter. Just nobody's thrilling me. Truly, nobody's thrilling me. Baltimore and the Jets. Baltimore is out on bye. Everybody there is probably gone. For the Jets, I think Robbie Anderson and Sharon Peake are worthy of being picked up. I do. I think they're worthy of being picked up, especially, not that I like them. I don't like them. But in this time where 6 teams are on bye, you're grasping. You're grasping at straws. Grasping. For San Francisco, well, they're on bye. I mean, I guess if you want to cover yourself with DeJuan Harris, you could. But I would do nothing with that team for sure. I would do nothing for that team for sure. Peyton Barber looks like he's the backup to Jaquiz Rogers, but Jaquiz Rogers is the backup to Doug Martin. So if Doug Martin is there, you don't need Peyton Barber. So don't go spending a lot of money on him. I don't think he's worth it. Russell Shepard, he's okay. Not special. He's okay. Adam Humphrey's been very disappointing. San Diego and Atlanta. Tevin Coleman's going to be out this week. So I think you're going to see more Jacob Tamme, more Justin Hardy, more Mohamed Sanu. So I think they're going to attack the Packers by throwing the football, unlike the Bears who didn't do anything last week. So let's watch that one closely. I think Justin Hardy might be worth a pickup with all these buys. For San Diego, Dontrell Inman had a good game, but that was to be expected because you knew that Trufant was going to cover Benjamin, and you had the opening there for Inman. Kenneth Farrow looks like the logical backup to Melvin Gordon, and should Melvin Gordon get hurt, Farrow's legit. I don't think I'd pay much money for him, but he is a legitimate successor there. The Steelers, I believe, are on bye as well. I think we talked about that. They are. So, we're just going to see who's healthy, but Darius Hayward-Bay is interesting to me. Kobe Hamilton, guys I could stash on my roster. For New England, everybody's owned, right? So, and then finally, Seattle and Arizona. J.J. Nelson to me is interesting, especially with Michael Floyd with a hamstring injury. I know that John Brown is getting better, but he's not 100%. For Seattle, look, there's Curse, there's Precise, there's nothing. So let's talk about this. And I feel kind of defeated in today's podcast. I do. I feel defeated. And I feel defeated because I'm like, wow, there's nobody out here I like. But I'm desperate, right? I'm desperate. They're going to be buys, and I need to find the guys to play. So I think there's two trains of thought that I would go with. One, my team is 2-5. My team is 1-6. My team may be 3-4. And I'm just going to give you a guy, let's say CJ Precise. Well, CJ Precise is playing and the rest of my team sucks. I'm going to bid heavily on him. You're bidding heavily on a guy who's not a good player. Now, I know you need to win this week. But let's say you do. Let's say you win this week. Now you got CJ Precise. You spent $200 free agent dollars on him. And now what? You won a week, and now what do you do next week? You're going to have to find somebody else, and you have less money to do it. So I want to be very cost conscious this week. I'll pay up if a guy's worth it, but did I name you any name that was worth it? Really? Did I name you one name that you liked? What did I give you? Seth Roberts is the backup if this guy gets hurt. Kenneth Farrow, something happens to Melvin Gordon, he's interesting. Blah, 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 blah. That's not good enough. That's really not good enough. You need better than that. You need much better than that. Truly. Let me give you some other names. Maybe Jay Cutler. Maybe Ryan Fitzpatrick. Jay Cutler is interesting to me. He's back. He's got a good offense around him. I mean, Matt Barkley stinks. Fitzpatrick, bye-bye ACL to Geno Smith. Fitzpatrick is there. Bryce Petty stinks. I mean, maybe Bryce Petty plays in week 16 or 17 just to see what he can do until they cut him. I mean, that's what you're looking at there. Maybe Colin Kaepernick. He's not good. He's not good. And by the way, there's rumors about Torrey Smith going to the Eagles. What does that tell you? It tells you the Eagles, first of all, it tells you Chip Kelly's crazy because he's the only decent receiver they have. And Torrey Smith's a good blocking receiver. Secondly, I'm sure of it. Watch it. I watch this. I'm telling you. It'll be Ty Montgomery for Josh Huff. And Chip Kelly will be like, I want to get my boy Josh Huff back. I mean, but what does that tell you? If the Eagles are getting Torrey Smith, it tells you that they don't like Dorial Green Beckham and they don't like Nelson Aguilar. I mean, at running backs, is Devontae Booker out there? Probably not. Matt Asiata? I mean, what are we talking about? Kadeem Carey? R. Kelly? I believe I can run? Paul Perkins, who can't block? Damian Williams? I mean, all these guys are stash and cash. That's what it is, stash and cash. That's not great odds when you're doing your pickups. At wide receiver, I mean, maybe Corey Coleman. maybe Dante Moncrief. They're all getting closer. They're probably a week or two away. So if you can hang around by week 10, they have value. Brandon LaFell, if somebody dropped him, is interesting. I told you, Marquise Lee. I mean, who are we looking at? Dorial Green-Beckham? I mean, this is awful. Mohamed Sanu, J.J. Nelson, Adam Humphries. What are we talking about? Kenny Stills? This is who we're looking at, people. This is who we're looking at in the free agent wire. Please, have I given you one name of a guy you like? Lance Kendricks, he's on bye this week. Jack Doyle, absolutely. Jack Doyle, he's a player. I assume he's a guy in your league. If he's not, VD and Jack Doyle, go get him. Like him. Okay? But be careful. Be careful. I'm going to go to one of my leagues here. I'll just click this one. It's a main event league. And I'll go to free agency. So I see teams with 550, 128, 805, 568, 423. What are you going to bid on these guys that I named you? What are you going to bid on them? Seriously, what are they worth? What are they worth? Let me give you another league here. So this one, 596, 608, 681, 817, 568. I mean, you got, be watchful. Be careful. Don't overspend on what's not going to help you long term. And if in doubt, be careful who you drop. That's what I really want to talk about today. You know what? You're going to look at a guy and you go, he's on bye this week. Do I need him? Yeah, you probably do. Don't give away people. Don't give away people if you don't have to. Right? Don't throw anybody in the waiver pool. That's probably the thing that I can say the most this week. Right? That's the thing I want to say the most. Be careful picking up pigs and dropping quality players for pigs, because now you've given somebody else in your league a distinct advantage. Right? So if you drop, I'm just saying, let's say somebody drops Darius Hayward-Bay to pick up, I don't know, Nelson Aguilar, because I want a guy who plays. Okay. You got a guy who plays. What's he going to get you? A point? 2 points? And you just gave away DHB, who's turning into a decent player. So watch who you drop. Watch who you drop, and don't give any gifts to the rest of your league. Because there's always one or two guys in your league right now who have like $20 left in free agency. They get $20 left. And they're looking. They're like the guys in the bar who are going around at 3 a.m. looking for loose change. Right? There's always one dude like that going around a club and is looking for loose change. Oh, here's a quarter. Here's a nickel. Right? Because these guys have no money, but that's how they're going to get by one last beer from your loose change. Don't give up loose change. If there's a moral to this podcast, that's it. Don't give up loose change. And what's loose change here? Players that might help you in 3 weeks or 2 weeks. Don't cut Corey Coleman. Don't cut Dante Moncrief. Please don't do that. Don't do that and pick up Nelson Aguilar. I'd rather get a big fat zero and keep Corey Coleman than get Nelson the Pig Aguilar. Let me tell you. All right. Right now it's time to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. I want to thank you guys for listening. I also want to thank you guys for being a member of the Scout Army. And if you're not a member of the Scout Army, join scoutfantasy.com, enter promo code ROTO, that's R-O-T-O. You pay for 1 month, we'll give you 2 more for free. And we'll help you win your seasonal leagues. We'll help you win your daily leagues. We'll help you win NBA, which is starting tonight, people. How about NHL with Cappy and Kick? How about our members forums with SD Chickens and Robbie and Dennis Roy and all these guys working hard? So please check out and see what we do at scoutfantasy.com. All right, back tomorrow with waiver wire bidding on pigs. Good luck with that. Be well. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!